Hey everybody, welcome to a fresh episode of Carlton People. Today we're going to meet Stephen. We're all going to meet Stephen. Hello mate, what's going on?
How are we? Good, how are you?
Mate, we're good. We have
That's great.
been, this has been a long time coming, this one. A lot of them have been, but this one in particular.
Yeah, since end of last year, I believe we were trying to get this in the works, but finally got there.
We got there in the end. Well, we are here and it is time. So let's begin, I guess, the journey of you, mate. How'd you become a Carlton supporter? What's the story?
Mine's very similar to all of us, I suppose, but my dad was a diehard Carlton fan and brainwashed, I suppose you could say. So, and he also named me after Stephen Kernahan. That was his favourite player growing up. Yeah. So I've always been a Carlton fan. Haven't known any different.
Yeah. So. Wow. What year were you born?
97.
97. Okay. So
yeah, 27 now.
It's been a very, I mean, I was born 6 years before you, but we've pretty much seen the same thing. It's funny.
Yeah, more or less, haven't we?
Yeah. So what's your first memory of Carlton that comes to mind?
Like at a game or just in general?
Whatever that question brings up for you.
Well, could be early at school, like footy colours day and stuff. Remember the first Carlton jumper I ever got was, I think it was in 2004, 2005, like a Carlton long sleeve, and I just was in love with it. Yeah. And first game I ever went to was actually a practice match in 2006. So I got to see Murph's, I guess, first game technically against the Cats all the way back then. So early days, yeah, would be that, I'd say.
That's interesting. No one's ever said that. Do you remember much from that day?
I remember I got my face painted. I had 43 on the side of my cheek. I loved Cooter back in the day. And a little funny story. I don't know how true this is, but apparently, because Carlton lost that day, apparently I was a bit emotional in the last quarter
of a practice match.
When it was a practice match, I guess I had the passion from a young age, you could say. Yeah. I don't know how true that is. I haven't seen a photo of it or anything, but
if there's no evidence, then we'll pretend like it never happened.
Yeah, that's it, mate. Yeah. So how you go?
Yeah, I was going to say, like, what about like game days? What was your routine growing up? And you know, everyone goes with certain people, or was that the same case for you? Or how was game day for you?
I've always lived here in Tassie, so I only got to go to a game or two every year. And I didn't start going to games until I was about 14. So growing up, I was always watching it at home with Dad, with my sister, and just with the family, I suppose. So it wasn't until I've gotten older that I was able to head over to Melbourne a few more times and see a few games myself and that. So, yeah.
What have you made about the transformation of the club from what we watched as kids to what we see now?
It was a long time coming. I'll say that. Because half my family are Geelong supporters. So we've experienced two different footy teams growing up. My twin brother's a Mad Cats fan. And so he was always had his team up very top of the ladder, and we're always down the bottom. But I'm very grateful now that they're finally turned, I suppose you could say.
I hope so.
A very long time down the bottom. So, it's only 1 year, I suppose. They need to continue to perform. So,
yeah, it's so interesting growing up with most of us. I would say our parents or our families have passed down the stories of the club and how great it used to be, and we had to wait a little bit to see it. I mean, it's not as great yet on field. But yeah, like you said, things are starting to move. Do you reckon we needed that? Do you reckon we needed to experience it from the ground up again to really?
Absolutely. Yep. Because it just made it so much better. Like, as bad as last year was, imagine if we didn't go through that real down patch, we wouldn't have had that massive high that we had, I don't think. Or it just made it so much more sweeter to me anyway. And I'd say most of us as well. So as much as we don't want to see the down patch, and hopefully it goes away for a little while. You need it, I'd say, to experience the joys of it all. So
Yeah, I don't know if you can really feel and understand how good something is without it overcoming something bad.
yeah, exactly. That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
What would you say are your core Carlton memories? Like the fundamental memories that stick out to you that really matter?
like a favourite memory I've experienced and that.
I mean, I feel like when I do these interviews, that people have certain moments, certain games that really shape their memory bank of Carlton. Like, what are your favorite moments and memories and stories?
I've got two that stick out.
Yeah.
One would be round 1, 2022, I would say. Because from 2017, I was going to round 1 every year because I wanted to be there when Carlton finally beat Richmond. Every year I went in 2017, went in 2018, went in 2019. 2020 didn't go at all, obviously. And I don't think I didn't go in 2021, but I went round 2 against Collingwood in 2021. So I just kept turning up to that game every year because I obviously live in Tassie, so I can't go every week.
Yep.
So I had round 1 locked in every single year for a patch, and whenever they played Geelong. So back to that game, it was the first time in 6 years I've seen it win live as well.
Yeah, right.
The last win I'd seen was in 2016, round 10 against Geelong. And from there, I went every year to watch round 1, Richmond, then went and watched them play Geelong and just saw loss after loss after loss.
Mate, there was a period of time.
Yeah, it was very special that night to finally see a win.
There was a period of time there that we could just not beat Richmond or Geelong. Just couldn't do it. Could not do it, no matter how close we came.
Yeah, it was hard to watch at times, but it just made it so much worth it in the end. Because especially that game where obviously Sam Doherty kicked that goal, and even that last quarter when they had that comeback. I remember when Shea Bolden kicked a goal early in that last quarter. I remember just sitting in my seat, sort of had my hands in my head and was like, oh, not again. Because especially the last couple of years, we'd always experienced them going on massive swings, like 5-goal, 6-goal swings against. And I just felt that was going to happen again. And then for us to do the absolute opposite, I couldn't believe it. I was so happy. Yeah. I remember we kicked 5 goals in like 7 or 8 minutes. And it'd been a long time since we'd seen something like that. So, yeah, that was a pretty special day, that one.
That was one of the – I still remember the carry-on from all of us the first few rounds that year. I mean, we had just not seen a start of a season like that. We're 3-0 to start the year.
Oh, it was
we're
crazy.
Up and about. Now we're looking at,
looking back now, it's a bit silly how much we carried on, but
yeah,
that's just, we hadn't experienced that sort of joy for such a long time. So
yeah, you look at it
felt
now.
Like we won a final after that game for me personally. It was just like the monkey was off the back. Little funny thing as well. Remember Zach Fisher's goal?
I remember Zach Fisher's goal.
Yeah. Right before that goal, I think Jack Martin put us in front. And then I was like cheering and stuff, but I saw how long was left to go. And for some reason, I just had the worst thought. I was just thinking, nah, we've taken lead too early. Richmond are going to come back and win this. And straight away, I just thought, oh, fuck, here we go, And then, yeah, straight away, I kicked another goal and I lost it. Couldn't believe it. I guess you would always expect them to fumble in the end like that. And I don't know, had this thought in my head that that's what was going to happen again. And then I ultimately went and won. So, yeah, it's just for, I guess, reasons like that and because of how long it had been since we'd won that game, that game really sticks in my head. For sure.
If you look at 2024, we've won a couple in a row and it's almost like we've matured pretty quickly. We don't want to get too carried away. So we've come a long way in just 2 years.
We certainly have, yes.
What was your other memory?
My was it kind of was a game. It was a practice match last year against Collingwood. I don't know if you were there that day or not.
No.
It was actually after the game. I at the time was doing a bit of FIFO work, so I was working in Queensland, but I was flying home the day of that practice match. So I called in. I missed the game, unfortunately, but I took a jumper with me. I was hoping to get signed. I've actually got it with me if I want to see it.
Yeah.
This is here.
Oh, wow.
This is Doc's goal in round 1 that year.
No way. That's a match-worn Guernsey?
Yep.
How'd you get your hands on that?
Through the club auctions. After the
Wow.
game, the club had them all up on auction. So I've got a bit of a collection of a few match-worns and player issue jumpers and stuff. This is obviously the big one that I have. So that day, well, prior to flying out, I decided to take it with me to Queensland. I was going to try and go down the club to get signed. Because when I got it, it was literally pulled off their backs, signed and shipped. So this was wet through from the Gatorade shower or whatever, the sweat. The front of the jumper was signed, but it faded off over time because of how wet it got with postage. So I decided to take it with me to try and get it signed. And when I got to the club, the game had finished, and I was asking a few of the office workers or whatever they are, the membership crew, if I could get Doc to sign it. And they were pretty quick to say, "Oh, sorry, I can't help you, mate," until I ripped out the jumper and showed them. And they were a bit speechless. But at the same time, they still couldn't help me. They didn't know what they were doing. They were like, well, they could be doing recovery for the next few hours. Doc could be heading home right now. We don't know. So I stuck around for a little while, watched the VFL game that was on. Was about to leave. I was about to give up. But I decided to go into the cafe to get a drink. I was in line, and you wouldn't believe it. Who walks out just as I'm waiting there? Himself or Doc, Silvani and Akers all walk in. And I just could not believe my luck.
Yeah. Well, you put yourself in the right situation more often than not. The luck comes your way.
No, it was crazy. I feel bad now. I basically ignored the other two, went straight up to Doc.
I think they understand.
Asked him to sign a jumper for me, and he was speechless when I ripped it out. So it was cool. I got a photo of him and all, and something I'll never forget that day. And I've since met him a couple of times as well. Like at the Best and Fairest, and also went to the Hall of Fame function last year. And he has remembered me both times, just from that interaction.
He's good like that. He's a good man. He's a good man. We're going to miss him.
So I was pretty devastated when we heard the news about his knee. But
I mean that's footy, isn't it? It's so harsh. It's so brutal.
Yeah, I just couldn't believe it. The way he was still able to play on, I was like, nah, it can't be an ACL, surely. Yeah. But that's just reality sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah. Speaking of this year, we're filming this and we're 2 games in. What's the general feeling about the club from you and where we're at and what we need to fix and where we're at? Yeah.
I think we are. Wasn't an ideal start against Brisbane, obviously. But the fight back and the hunger and the pressure, that's all we can ask for, really. And then even last week, I thought Richmond played a really good game last week. I don't think people were giving them enough credit. We probably were lacking a few areas, especially out of our stoppage game. That seemed to be non-existent, which I guess you could look at it, you could worry about it, but like you said, it's only 2 rounds in or 1 round in, an opening round. So end of the day, they're winning games, and that's all I can really ask for. We've been craving that for so long. So as long as they are consistently winning and they're playing, good enough, that's all I can really ask for at the moment.
wasn't so long ago when we were winning 2 games in a season. So I'm with you. It might not be pretty, but we've taken a long time to learn how to win.
Yep, exactly right.
I'm going to fire some questions at you. I feel like I can still do. You're going to have a bit of a benefit here because you've seen 2 games. But I'm going to fire a few questions at you for the upcoming year and see where you land.
Yep.
Who's your prediction to win the best and fairest?
I reckon Charlie Curnow.
Leader Charlie. I like that.
Now, obviously, Weeders has missed a bit of footy. We haven't got Walsh back at the moment. Maybe Cripper could, but I'm going to put my money on Charlie. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. No one has said that yet.
Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah, well, he's, back-to-back Carlton medalist. I can't remember the last time I've seen that happen before, so.
That's true.
He's about due to win one, I'd say.
One of the few things left for him to win.
Yeah, exactly right.
What about, who do you think is going to be our most improved player this year?
Most improved. Oh, Tom Koenig, I reckon. But like you said, I've had the luxury of seeing the first 2 games, so.
No, that's actually a good shout.
Yeah, I reckon Tom, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
He's looking like he's going to have a monster year. So,
what about a young fella? Who's a young fella that maybe hasn't played 50 games yet that you look and you think he's going to be one for the future to keep an eye on?
Well, I've looked of Corey Durden early days. Once he gets his body going, I reckon he can have a massive impact.
Yeah.
But obviously you got Motlop as well. You got I reckon Ashton Moyer.
Oh yeah.
Because I was also at the practice match against the Cats. I was able to attend that game as well. So he actually really impressed me that day. Obviously he hasn't played a game at all yet, but a few players like that would, definitely held us in good stead, I reckon.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the big one, I have to know, what year is it going to be? When is the group? When are we going to see the next premiership? Which year will it be?
Well, I want to say this year, but I really want to see Doc win a flag as well.
Can't go back to back?
Well, they very well could. I reckon, it'll be the next 2 years. We'll definitely see a flag, I reckon. Yep.
I love it. I love how the confidence has returned from the supporter base, because this answer used to be 23, 24. Then it shifted right out to 26, 27.
Yeah.
And then there was a period of time there where it was like 25. Everyone was saying 25. And now people are really confident that we can do it this year, which I like.
Yep. No, I've got a gut feeling it'll be next year, but
yeah,
this year I don't see why we can't as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because we used to be a team that was based off a few players and not many role players. Where nowadays we're missing 2 of our best players. We've just lost Doc, and we're still performing pretty well. So it's a team narrative, you could say now.
Yeah.
So,
squad mentality.
If we can continue that, I don't see why we can't keep pushing.
No, fantastic. Crossed. I like it. Well, mate, thanks so much for your time. It's good to be able to film this and get this one in the archives, and it'll just sit there in the internet and watch the kids one day with the kids.
No problem.
I look forward to catching up with you again when you're in Melbourne, and we'll go from there.
Sounds good. I'll be over next week, actually, going to the Good Friday game.
I will see you at Marvel Stadium.
Will do. No worries, mate.
Good on you. Go Blues.
Awesome.